What's up guys, it's your favorite QB coach. Welcome back to another reaction video. This one's going to be another TrackMan video. The instructor featured in this video is going to be Andrew Rice. He's a very talented instructor in America, as well as he's a TrackMan master, so he's very knowledgeable about this subject. So, let's go do this thing. So welcome back to the channel guys. If you guys are new to QB Golf Japan, we do a bunch of videos like this every single week. So what you got to go do is hit that little red subscribe button, smash the like button, please leave me a comment. Let me know what you guys think about this particular video. It's going to be, again, very interesting. And as always, please hit that little bell notification. You guys are going to get notified every single time we drop a video. So before I get into the video, I want to talk about the main point of this video. It's really dealing with impact location, or really strike location, and then how that could potentially affect curvature. Specifically in this video, we're talking about driver here and how gear effect can really affect your curvature, and it could get some really confusing numbers if you don't quite understand it. Again, this video is mainly for instructors, but again, we're hopefully going to try to make it have a little bit of a simplified version for you out there who are just trying to work on your golf swings as well. So without further ado, let's go hop into the video and see what he's got to say.
Hi, I'm Andrew Rice. I'm out here with a good friend of mine and student by the name of Chris. Our objective is going to be to separate out what your swing pattern is causing the golf ball to do and what your strike pattern is causing the ball to do. In order to do that, we've got to mark the face. I like to use Dr. Scholl's.
Okay. Quick shout out to the old TM3 users. If you still have a TM3, you know what I'm talking about. They don't, the TM3 does not pick up impact location. So what you had to do back in the old days before the TM4 was you actually had to spray the face or put some type of face tape on there so you could see where the impact location was. But it's just funny to see how technology's progressed. If you have the TM4, you have probably no clue what I'm talking about. The TM4 actually does measure impact location, but the TM3 does not. So as an instructor, I just think it's funny. It doesn't really add value to this video, but I just wanted to bring that up.
We're just going to spray the face up. That way we can track what your strike pattern is. Give us a couple of tee shots. We're just going to look at 3 or 4 shots. Okay, Chris, thanks very much. Come on over. I think we've got some interesting data to look at. First thing, and I've noticed this time and time again, is not even better golfers, just passionate golfers are very consistent with their club path, how they deliver the club to the golf ball, okay? Whatever it is, they're consistent with it. So let's take a look here. And really what we're looking at here.
Okay. So kind of to preface what he's talking about there, really when he's talking about a good golfer being consistent with their club path, he's talking about deviation of club path. So to give you guys an example, let's say if you hit 20 shots and your average club path was 3 degrees, the deviation would be maybe within 1 degree, right? So that means that they would be anywhere from +4 to +2. You wouldn't see hardly, if any, numbers outside that +4 or +2 range, so that means you wouldn't see him having a +8 club path one swing and then a +0 or like a +1 club path on the other swing. The deviation is going to be very, very tight, and if you understand that face to path is causing your curvature, and if you have a tight deviation of club path and face angle, you're probably going to have very consistent curvature control. You're probably going to have a very good lateral deviation, hence you'll probably be very accurate, right? That's kind of what he's talking about there.
Is your swing pattern. Take a look at club path up on the left here. You'll notice from our first swing, second swing, third swing, all of those were somewhere between 2 and 3.5 degrees in to out. Okay, that swing pattern to me says this golfer should, given a centered hit.
And he's pretty much saying exactly what I just said there. Now, one thing I do want to kind of talk about, if you are trying to really figure out your deviation in club path or face angle, or really just anything in the golf swing, 3 shots is not a big enough data pool to get your accurate deviation, right? You need to be hitting at least 50 shots to get relatively an accurate deviation, as well as when you're hitting those shots, you can't just hit, tee up, hit, tee up. I would recommend trying to take a little bit of a break in between. Try to get it as simulated to the golf course as you possibly can, with being realistic, right? Because I know we can't have, like, to hit 50 golf balls, you can't have 10 hours to do, right? So try to make it as realistically as you can. But again, when you are gathering data, 3 shots will not cut the pattern, or will not cut it. But for the point of a YouTube video, obviously, you can't get 50 shots and just watch him hit 50 shots. It'd be a boring video, right? So they just did 3.
Little baby draws, okay? And that's certainly what you're working towards. That's what you'd like to see. You'll notice here the first shot, which was beautiful, by the way. If we look at our spin axis down here on the bottom right side of our screen, you'll notice how the spin axis is slightly favoring a baby fade, okay?
So let me kind of unpack that for you guys. So first off, if you don't know what spin axis is, think about it this way. So if a golf ball, when you hit it, it's spinning backwards like this, correct? So it's spinning backward, and that's actually what's getting it to lift up off the ground, right? That backspin. Now what happens is, if you deliver the golf club with a certain path and a certain face that's maybe open or closed, you're going to start seeing that this backspinning golf ball is going to start tilting either which way, depending on kind of the face-to-path relationship. So with this particular shot that he's referencing, this player was spinning the ball backwards, but then they deliver the face-to-path closed, so then the golf ball should tilt on the axis to the left. However, the interesting part is the spin axis was actually 0.7 to the right, so it actually had a spin axis that was tilted slightly to the right. So how could that be the case to where you had a face-to-path that was negative, but then your spin axis was slightly to the right? It doesn't add up, and this is why I think this video is going to be very crucial for a lot of you instructors out there, but let's go see the reason why Andrew thinks that's the case.
One thing I noticed on this shot, anytime I see the face-to-path be negative and the spin axis be positive, that is indicating a heel hit for a right-hander. Okay, and what that heel hit will do is, when the club face collides with the golf ball, it twists the face closed. It's that closing of the face that actually imparts gear effect, which will get the ball to curve to the right. So here, this shot flew.
Okay, so let me again break that down for you guys if you didn't quite understand it. So he's specifically talking with driver. Driver has something called gear effect. If you hit it off the heel with driver, what happens is, yes, the face is closing, but also because of the technology, the golf ball is actually going to start kind of gearing off the face, or kind of rolling off the face, and it's actually going to tilt the axis more to the right than it would be if you had the same face-to-path but with a different strike location, right? That's really the key point right there. So what happened with this particular player was he had a 1.9 positive club path, and then I think he had like a -1 face angle, so that's like roughly a 3-degree face-to-path in a negative fashion. It should be tilting this way with the spin axis, but because he struck it off the heel and because of gear effect, it actually made the spin axis 0.7 to the right. So ultimately this player's shot did not actually draw to the left as much as it could have been if the strike was in a slightly different location. And the reason why this is so beneficial is because you could have a player who's hitting maybe, let's say, little tiny draws, like 2-yard, 3-yard draws, and then maybe they're on the course and next thing they know they hit like a 30-yard snap hook, and they think it's something wrong with their swing, when realistically all it was they typically hit it maybe slightly heel, and then they actually hit one that was a little bit more on the toe side, and then it drew too much. So if they would have just understood about strike and realized that all they had to do was just shift the strike back a little bit towards the heel as opposed to trying to change everything in the golf swing, it could have been easier for this player to self-correct their miss, right? That's why this video I think is so important. Let's continue to watch it because there's some more interesting parts in this video.
Very straight, you had a draw swing pattern with a very slight fade pattern to your strike. That makes sense? Yeah, okay. If we take that and we contrast that with the final shot that you hit, we look at that, we can see that ball had a little bit more draw to it, perhaps even a little more draw than we would like to hit. Club path 3.7. Someone says to me, I want to hit little baby draws. I'd love to see them be consistent with that. Okay, that's a good number. In other words,
all right, real quick, when he's saying he'd love to see him consistent with that, he's talking about the club path to face angle relationship, or the face to path. If you want to see, and this is where I'm not 100% agreeing with it, but if you want to see a push draw, which is what most people like to see, I'm not saying that's the best way to hit a draw. It's just what most people like to see. If you want to hit a push draw, you want to see your face to path pretty close to where this player's is, right? 3.7 club path, face at like 1.3. Relative to strike, you should be able to see the ball start a little bit right of target line and then draw back towards the target line, right? So that's kind of what he's referencing in that little section there.
swing pattern has remained where we would like for it to be. The thing that changed here, and we'll certainly see it as we look at your club face because we marked it, is our face to path relative to that spin axis. Just using a very simple formula here, I should get about, let's say, 8 degrees of spin axis tilt to the left.
So let me kind of, again, break that down as well. If you've taken the TrackMan courses, you understand there's a formula to find spin axis. I'm not going to go into the formula because you instructors should be able to know this if you're taking the TrackMan course, as well as I don't think it's really beneficial for you clients to understand the formula. I don't think you really need to. But really, the main point here is the face to path is negative 2.3 on this shot. However, the shot before that we just talked about, it was negative 3. However, the face to path that's negative 2.3, which is a smaller degree, actually curved more to the left when the face to path was a greater degree, right? Again, if your face to path is a greater degree, it should theoretically curve more than the one that has less. So why is the face to path that has a smaller degree curving more? Well, again, it's going to be because of strike location. I'm going to let Andrew Rice kind of talk about where the player struck it, and then I'll get back to you guys.
On that shot, but that's 11.2, indicating that ball curved more to the left than the swing pattern should have caused it to do. Okay, and certainly as we look at your club face, you'll notice there you can clearly see where you hit the last shot, a little bit more out towards the toe.
Yeah, and exactly what he just said. So basically the strike location shifted a little high toe, as opposed to before it was like a little bit lower up center and a little bit off towards the heel side. So even though his face to path was a greater degree, because he struck it off the heel, it did not curve as much. And then the one that we're just about talking about here, where it was a smaller degree, because he hit it slightly off the toe, the golf ball actually curved more to the left. So the interesting part for an instructor who doesn't necessarily know this information, you would have seen face to path greater on one with less curvature and then smaller on the other with more curvature, and you might be really confused when you're looking at that data and you're like, what the hell is going on? Like, I learned on TrackMan that greater face to path should be more curvature. Is my TrackMan wrong? Is there something going on, right? And that's where I see a lot of instructors when they first get TrackMan, that's kind of what's going on. They think that there's a malfunction with the system, but it's not. It's strike location, which is kind of shifting the spin axis. So when you're an instructor out there, you got to be really careful when you're getting maybe some funky numbers that you're not quite sure about. Make sure to check the strike location, and that could probably give you an idea of what's going down. And it's really going to be beneficial to then translate that to your client in a way to where they can understand it in a simplified version. But yeah, I think it's a very important part. So there's a little bit more of this video. I'm not going to play the whole video through. If you guys want to watch the whole video, I'll link it down below. Obviously, it's in English, so I don't think you guys will be able to watch it. But yeah, very interesting stuff. I really like Andrew Rice. I really like this TrackMan series that we're currently doing. I think hopefully we're bringing some more knowledge to you guys out here in Japan and giving you guys maybe some better ideas to think about when you're utilizing TrackMan out there. Without further ado, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, all that good stuff, and please hit that little bell notification. You guys are getting notified every single time we drop a video. I'll see you guys in next video.